Would you please be seated? Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, distinguished guests, staff, honorary graduands, families, friends and graduating students. My name is Kevin Walton. I'm the Chancellor here at the Cathedral, and it's my very great pleasure to welcome you to the Cathedral today. This cathedral, where worship has been offered for almost 1,000 years, is not only of historical importance, it has also been a centre of learning and research for nearly a millennium, and it continues to be so. So by graduating here this morning, you become part of that long tradition, and this cathedral becomes your cathedral. So I very much hope that there'll be many opportunities for you to return here and that you'll always feel welcome here. I now invite you to keep a moment of silence as I offer a prayer. God of wisdom and grace, we give thanks for all that has been learned and shared by those who are graduating today. As they step into new beginnings, grant them courage, clarity and compassion. May they use their gifts in service of others and walk always in your truth and love, through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful day and wish you every success for your future.
I hereby declare this congregation for the conferment of degrees and awards to be open. I welcome all who are gathered here for this ceremony.
Madam Chancellor, Lord Lieutenant, civic leaders, distinguished guests, members of University Council, staff and graduands of Lincoln Bishop University, I'm delighted to offer my welcome to graduation. It's a great privilege to welcome you to the ceremony, and let me firstly thank everyone here for gathering together for this most special of occasions. For those graduating today, many congratulations on your achievement. This is a major personal success which is rightly yours to celebrate, and I hope that you'll look back on this day with great pride and satisfaction. For the university, graduation is the pinnacle of our academic year, and what better place to celebrate this special occasion than in this amazing cathedral, which certainly knows a thing or two about pinnacles. With a central tower standing over 80 metres tall and the iconic image visible for miles, we're constantly reminded of the commitment and ambition the cathedral represents, which is entirely relevant for today. As we've just heard, a place of worship since the 11th century, but also a place of learning and research. Let me take this opportunity to thank the Dean and Chapter for their kind permission for the use of the cathedral today. As a university with values inspired by an Anglican foundation, our partnership with Lincoln Cathedral is a reflection of a shared commitment to serving the common good, seeking to make a positive impact within the communities that we serve. In September last year, the university started its new chapter as Lincoln Bishop University. Our focus and direction are guided by our new strategy, setting out our vision for the future to be a confident, person-centred and forward-looking university, pursuing excellence in teaching, research and knowledge exchange. Over this past year, Lincoln Bishop has pursued its vision with great energy, locally, nationally and internationally. By way of notable successes, across our county, the Greater Lincolnshire Social Economy Academy continues to provide professional development for voluntary, community, faith and social enterprise organisations, helping them to discover the power of partnership and also how technology, through the practical and ethical application of AI, can assist organisations in their work. Nationally, we're proud to be partnering with Human Scale Education, working together to place human relationships at the heart of organisations. and exploring person-centred education through consultancy and research. And looking beyond the UK, the university is encouraging a global outlook, contributing the expertise of academics in education, applied humanities and in business to create connections of lasting impact in Germany, Ukraine and Singapore. And in relation to the university's research, we celebrate the publications of our academic staff and also the university having hosted international academic conferences, including Tennyson 2026, considering how the poetry of the Lincolnshire-born poet Lord Alfred Tennyson was central in forming Victorian responses to the natural world, and the Teacher Education Policy in Europe conference, considering pressing themes including teacher empowerment, professional resilience and digital innovation. These are just some of the many successes this academic year, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of my colleagues, including those from our partner institutions, for their hard work and commitment this academic year. In thanking colleagues for their contribution, let me also thank the many members of staff involved in the planning and staging of this ceremony. Let's acknowledge together the fantastic contribution of the staff team in the life of this university. It would be fair to say that completing a higher education qualification is an opportunity, but also a challenge. We find ourselves confronted with needing to conduct a critical evaluation, finding our way through uncertainty at the threshold of knowledge, and working independently in communicating complex ideas. In essence, achieving graduation demonstrates that you've navigated a formidable academic journey. Fortunately, we're not alone on that journey. On behalf of all the graduands here, let me offer my thanks to all those colleagues, deans, deputy deans, programme leaders, teaching staff, professional service support staff, and the chaplaincy team who go the extra mile in supporting our students. Let me also thank our Students' Union, and particularly the President and Vice President this academic year, Stefan Bolton and Kimberly Gill, for their greatly valued work in representing the members of the Students' Union so effectively. And finally, let me thank all the friends and family here in the Cathedral, on campus, and indeed joining us online, for being there for our graduands every step of their way, from the idea of application through to the ceremony today. Thank you for all that you've done in providing your support. It's undoubtedly made all the difference. And so, with particular encouragement to those graduating, can I ask us to show our appreciation for all those who've supported our graduands, and particularly our grateful thanks to friends and family. Graduation is a great time of anticipation. There's always a buzz of excitement in the lead up to the ceremony, building to the moment when you cross the stage, and then after today, the anticipation that we share with you for what's now possible in your future ahead. The music we'll enjoy at the end of our ceremony, sung by the university's chapel choir, underscores the shared sense of anticipation. Sir Hubert Parry's I Was Glad is the famous setting of words from Psalm 122 and is a celebration of the gladness of our gathering and a stirring prayer for peace within our communities. With great artistry, the music culminates to the hope of plenteousness within thy palaces. As the tempo broadens and voices rise in pitch and volume, so the anticipation builds, marking this magnificent moment and sending us on our way. So let's hold on to that sense of anticipation. Let's hold on to the excitement that we feel together about your success and what it will mean for your future, making the most of the opportunities ahead. Let's go from the ceremony today and live our lives with the university's values of courage and innovation, always acting with honesty and with empathy. In so doing, I very much anticipate you'll have the character, the capabilities, and the creativity to meet head-on the challenges and opportunities of the future. and looking to your future will be with you on your journey. Do return to your university to draw on our encouragement, to tap into the positivity of our anticipation of your future success in life and work. So, with the future now firmly in mind and all that's before you, as Vice-Chancellor, on behalf of your university, I offer you, our graduands, my warmest congratulations. In the words of the university prayer, give us the grace to live in harmony, honouring the heritage of the past and welcoming the challenges of the future. Let's hold on to the positive energy we feel today to make a difference in building a better future, which for you, in anticipation of being a graduate of Lincoln Bishop University, will be full of possibility. Many congratulations, and with every best wish for the future. Thank you. I now invite our honorary graduand Gary Orbin to come forward, and for Dr. Zoe Nye, Programme Leader for the Postgraduate Certificate in Education Secondary, to make the presentation.
It is a pleasure to present to you today our honorary graduand, Gary Orbin. They say you never forget a good teacher, and I can confirm this is true, because Gary and I were once colleagues, and he also taught my children. I remember him as a thoughtful and generous colleague, and they remember him as a teacher who made a difference. I also remember something I think Gary would prefer me to forget, and that is the day he taught his first Year 8 drama lesson, ripped his trousers, and then had to teach the rest of the day with his back against the wall, until Emily, his wife, could bring him a spare pair at lunchtime. Now, while that particular achievement does not appear on the official biography, it does reveal his composure under pressure and possibly his early talent for finding practical solutions to unexpected barriers. Now, you may not remember every lesson a teacher taught you, but you remember how that teacher made you feel. Now, my son has special educational needs, and Gary understood him. He saw his potential rather than his limitations. As a parent, you do not forget a teacher who sees your child properly, and Gary was that teacher for my son. So long before Gary became a nationally respected voice in special educational needs and disabilities, he was already putting those principles into practice. He understood that genuine inclusion begins with seeing, valuing, and making space for each individual child. Gary has been a secondary teacher, a head of year, and a SEND-co in both primary and secondary settings. He went on to lead SEND provision across a multi-academy trust of 10 schools. His work is therefore not founded upon an abstract understanding of education, but it is rooted in the realities faced by children, families, teachers, and school leaders. As the Education Endowment Foundation SEND Associate, Gary helps schools apply the evidence behind high-quality teaching for pupils with SEND. He also contributed to the development of the MPQ for SEND-COs. As Director of SEND Programs and Networks for Whole Education, he supports schools and trusts to develop whole school approaches to inclusion. His message is simple but challenging. Responsibility for pupils with SEND does not belong to one person or one department. Inclusion is the work of the whole institution. Gary served on the Government Curriculum and Assessment Review Panel. He has advised the BBC, produced professional learning materials, spoken internationally, and shared his expertise with hundreds of schools, trusts, and local authorities. His first book, The Load SEND-Co, offers evidence-informed guidance and reassurance to professionals who can sometimes feel they carry an enormous responsibility alone. His second, The Parent's Guide to SEND, helps families navigate a system that can be confusing, exhausting, and sometimes deeply distressing. Gary's writing is informed by research, but he never loses sight of the people who must put that research into practice. One of his greatest gifts is making complex ideas understandable, practical, and human. Gary already has an important relationship with Lincoln Bishop University. He delivers the keynote lecture in the inclusion series for our secondary PGCE trainees. I remember him using the automatic doors at Sainsbury's as an analogy for inclusive support. Other supermarkets are available. They may provide essential access for some people, but they make things easier for everybody and they hinder no one. And you could see the light bulbs going on in the trainees' heads as he helped them understand that inclusion is not an additional task, a collection of paperwork or somebody else's responsibility. It's central to what good teaching is. Gary's contribution reflects the values of the university. He combines academic rigour with practical wisdom, national influence with a continuing understanding of the classroom, and professional authority with warmth, generosity, and humanity. The significance of his work lies ultimately in the child who is included rather than merely present, whose strengths are recognised alongside their needs, and who receives support without being made to feel like a problem to be solved. Through the teachers, Senkos, leaders and parents Gary supports, that influence now reaches countless children who he will never meet. They say you never forget a good teacher, and I know that to be true, both as Gary's former colleague and as a parent. My son has not forgotten the teacher who gave him time and support to become more fully himself, and neither have I. I am pleased to present Gary as a worthy candidate for the degree of Doctor of the University, honoris causa.
It is with great pleasure that I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of the University, honoris causa, and we welcome you to our academic community.
Thank you so much, Madam Chancellor, distinguished guests, staff and graduates of Lincoln Bishop University, to the graduates who've worked hard to be here and to their families who've supported them along the way, congratulations. I've worked my whole life in education, and education's many things, many wonderful things, but it's not typically the Oscars, and so you don't often get to give a public thanks. So while I've got the microphone, let me just say a rare opportunity in front of you all to thank my family, Emily, George and Nancy, for their enormous support and love. And thank you, Zoe, for your generous introduction. I've worked in quite a few schools in a few different roles in my career, and there's one school in West London that I'd like to tell you about. It's a secondary school that had been on its own journey. It had been in special measures, the lowest Ofsted category, but had a new leadership team and had made real improvements. They were waiting for Ofsted to come back and re-inspect the school. It was a Monday morning's staff briefing, and the head of school wanted to start off the week galvanising his staff around the wonderful privilege that his staff have, the privilege of working with young people every day. But he also wanted to acknowledge the challenges. So in this staff briefing, he wanted to say, teaching's tough. You don't always get a thank you. There's no working from home. You can't take holidays whenever you want to. The pay will never make you a millionaire, but what an absolute privilege it is to make a difference in a young person's life, to be their route to employment, to help shape who they are now and to shape their future. But the bell went halfway through his speech. So he started everyone's week by reminding his staff that you don't get thanked, you can't work from home or choose your holidays, and you won't get rich from it, and the bell went, and then people had to go straight to teach their lessons. Certainly not a way to motivate your team for the week ahead. But the broad point he was making, that working with the people in society who need a leg up, who need a bit of support, perhaps because they're a child, or because they need some psychological support, or because they're in early years, or because they've got SEND, or because they need help with personal care, is a privilege, a vocation, and something to be incredibly proud of. And when I look at the list of courses that you're graduating from today, I see a lot of that vocation in this room. My dad was a nurse. He went on to run a large residential home for disabled adults, and I'm incredibly proud that that was his vocation. But I want to tell you briefly now about my father-in-law. He also worked in health. My father-in-law is called George. He worked as a GP all his life. Back in December, I was telling my father-in-law about what I'd be doing in January, and I told him I was going to visit a school called King Edward's in Birmingham to speak to their staff. He stopped me mid-sentence and told me that this was his old school. All these years on, he was visibly emotional about the memory of the school he went to as a child and the idea of me going to visit it. And the reason he was emotional is because that school changed his life. In his words, it saved him. And as he told me, 2 teachers in particular saved him. One teacher, because they noticed a change in George and were curious enough to find out what was going on for him and to get him back on the right track. And the other teacher for inspiring a lifelong love of music. And my father-in-law is now in his 80s. And those teachers changed his life so much that 65 years later he wells up thinking about them. Just think about that for a second. As George, my father-in-law, sees it, 2 good teachers saved him, in his words, not by doing anything particularly revolutionary, by turning up, by being curious, by caring about the young person in front of them, and sharing a love and passion for their subject. And it's not only teachers who have this power, it's the collective power of you all in this room, however you use the qualification that you're receiving today. And without my father-in-law being saved at school, as he puts it, he would never have gone on to study medicine. He'd never have had a 40-year career as a GP in a market town in Cambridgeshire. And in that town, everybody knows his name. You can't walk through the town with him without people stopping to tell him their news and stopping one of us to share what a difference he'd made to them and to their family. Thousands of lives that he changed and that he saved over a 40-year career. All only possible because of 2 teachers who saved him. My old CEO put a post on LinkedIn recently. He was trying to recruit people to come and train to be teachers in his trust. In his words on this LinkedIn post, he said, "If you want to change the world, get off Substack and get in the classroom." But then he said something I think is particularly true. He said, showing up in a school for 190 days a year is the most socially progressive thing you can do with a great degree. I'd broaden that slightly, and I would say that showing up every day for those who really need you is the most socially progressive thing you can do, the way to build a better society. Most of my career has been centred on trying to improve the educational experience for children with SEND. And I'd like to finish by telling you one thing I've learnt from my career in SEND so far. I've learnt that it's vital we all get every bit of specialist training we can, that we learn about diagnostic labels, and that we commit to upskilling ourselves around special educational needs and disabilities. But I've also learnt that alongside all that vital knowledge and expertise, the most inclusive teachers and the most important adults a child might know professionally, whether teachers, youth workers, Senkos, therapists, coaches or early years practitioners, are the ones who are kind, who see the potential in everyone, who keep judgment far away from their work, who stay patient, who are willing to be wrong and humble enough to learn from whatever they get wrong and go again. It's the ones who have a smile ready, who listen, who know it's their job to notice what's in front of them and to adapt the plan without their own pride standing in the way. So, teaching is tough, of course it is. Many of the careers that you're already in or are soon to embark on are clearly challenging. But it's no exaggeration to say that you are going to change and save lives so that those you meet can go on to change and save others' lives. That those you meet will make a greater positive difference to the world because they've met you. That you're choosing enormously socially progressive careers and careers that many other people simply couldn't do. Whatever you do with your degree, good luck with it. And on behalf of all the lives you'll change along the way, thank you.
Many congratulations to Gary and his family. Madam Chancellor, I now call upon you to accept the recommendations of Senate with regard to the candidates we shall present to you.
Madam Chancellor, we present these candidates to you today that you may confer upon them for the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Counselling Practitioner with First Class Honours, Claire Louise Goodman. Emily Reid. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Counselling Practitioner with Honours, Celine Vivian. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Counselling Practitioner with Foundation Year with Honours, Hannah Freeman Tinsley. Emma Oliver. Laurie Thompson. Chloe Zuccaro. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Counselling with Honours, Thomas Dunbar. Clarissa Huxley. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Counselling with Foundation Year with Honours, Lisa Taylor. Shannon Wardle. Joshua Wilkinson. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Early Childhood Studies with First Class Honours, Chloe Hammond. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Early Childhood Studies with Honours, Emily Bebb. Jasmine Dobson. Rachel Pacheco. Lily May Smart Matchett. Lauren Taylor. Alyssa Turrell. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Early Childhood Studies with Foundation Year with Honours, Emma Clark. Fiona Jones. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Education Studies with First Class Honours, Alanya Regeterada. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Education Studies with Honours, Sophie Beale. Daniel Clayton. Yasmin Cutler. Lily Denton. Benjamin Fox. Sophie Penton. Tilly Mae Rhodes. Chloe Stevens. Jessica Scarlett Tattershaw. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Education Studies, with foundation year, with honours, Leon Clark. Catherine Fish. Felicia Helen Smith. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Education Studies and English, with honours, Grace Lechon. Sarah Martin. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Education Studies and History, with foundation year, with honours, Georgina Mende. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Education Studies and Sociology, with honours, Ellie Waddington. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Education Studies and Special Educational Needs, Disability and Inclusion, with foundation year, with first class honours, Melanie Shemetov. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Education Studies and Theology, Philosophy and Ethics, with honours, Hannah Mountain. For the degree of Bachelor of Science, Health and Social Care, with honours, Aidan Ellis. Holly Swiffen. For the degree of Bachelor of Science, Health and Social Care, with foundation year, with first class honours, Jackie Bartle. Danielle Granger. Fathia Oladoja. Agnieszka Testa. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Health and Wellbeing in Early Childhood, with honours, Lily Goodman. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Psychology, with first class honours, Olivia Georgeson. Jessica Hitchens. Molly McCleary. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Psychology, with honours, Ryan Adani. Ethan Chung. Shawnee Rose Eggleston. Jamie Golder Gilligan. Matthew Goodlightis. Emily Temporal. Carly Williams. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Psychology with Foundation Year, with First Class Honours, Lucy Guatkin. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Psychology with Foundation Year, with Honours, Biljan Aydin. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Psychology and Counselling, with Honours, Tia Leonie Barwood. Lauren Whitworth. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Psychology and Early Childhood Studies, with Honours, Amy Allen. Lucy Milsom. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Psychology and Early Childhood Studies, Tierney Brearley. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Psychology and Early Childhood Studies, with Foundation Year, with Honours, Michelle Madden. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Psychology and Education Studies, with First Class Honours, Kia Plasto. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Psychology and Education Studies, with Foundation Year, with Honours, Talia Richards Thompson. Jessica Taylor. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Psychology and English, with Honours, Hannah Bringeman. Katie Murray. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Psychology and Sociology, with Honours, Ruby Johnson. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Psychology and Sociology, with Foundation Year, with Honours, Patricia Shikora. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Psychology and Special Educational Needs, Disability and Inclusion, with Honours, Kate Budden. Emily Clayton. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Psychology and Sport, with Honours, Dylan Cook. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Special Educational Needs, Disability and Inclusion, with First Class Honours, Natalie Price. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Special Educational Needs, Disability and Inclusion, with Honours, Abigail Gooderham. Emily Harland. Phoebe Loads-Whiffen. Caitlin Loom. Ella Preston. Nia Smallpage Mitchell. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Special Educational Needs, Disability and Inclusion with Foundation Year with Honours, Andrea Clark Emerson. Natasha Harrison. Chelsea Page. For the degree of Bachelor of Science, Education Studies and Mathematics with Honours, Sarah Roth. For the degree of Bachelor of Science, Sport, Coaching and Physical Education with First Class Honours, Jack Belton. Harley Cullum. Tegan Harrison. For the degree of Bachelor of Science, Sport Coaching and Physical Education with Honours, Luke Ambrose. Jake Blenkinsop. Megan Eastwood. Emma Farmer. Tom Gledhill. Kieran Mansell. Charlie Robson. Susie Stephen. For the degree of Bachelor of Science, Sport Coaching and Physical Education with Foundation Year with Honours, Luke Craigie. Luke Rance. For the degree of Bachelor of Science, Sport Coaching and Physical Education with Foundation Year, Georgia Williamson. For the degree of Bachelor of Science, Sport and Mathematics with Honours, Daniel Prescott. For the Senior Leader Apprenticeship with Distinction, Sarah Bardney. Claire Berry. Joseph Booth. Ashley Broom. Amanda Brown. Jennifer Buckley. Matthew Burnett. Sarah Careless. Rachel Cavill. Robert Coughlin. Maria Madalena Diaconu. Jennifer Egualeonan. Gemma Fennick. Alan Grief. Helen Hardware. Manish Kukar. Matthew King. Claire Lloyd. Gareth Phillips. Catherine Pilton. Sharon Reetham. David Shields. Leanne Taylor. Louise Vaughan. David Waite. Stephanie Wilby. Thomas Williamson. For the Senior Leader Apprenticeship, Saffron G. Shalini Marjara. Kim McGee. For the Chartered Manager Degree Apprenticeship, with distinction, Victoria Fletcher. Nicholas Foote. Laura Kearney. Camille Nikowski. Sarah Otter Thompson. Georgia Rontry. Laura Strawn. Henry Wright. For the Career Development Professional Apprenticeship, Alexander Bell. Daniel Marshall. Paul Rhodes. Lindsay Tugby Andrew. For the Diploma in Career Guidance and Development, John Herbert.
Huge congratulations from me to all this year's graduates. That's a phenomenal achievement. And for your friends, family and supporters, excellent cheering. That's going to take some beating in the other ceremonies. Well, it now gives me great pleasure to introduce one of today's graduates who will give the closing oration, who has graduated with the degree of BSc Honours, Education Studies and Mathematics, Sarah Roth.
Good morning, everyone. Well, we did it. After years of hard work, determination, and more deadlines than we care to remember, we are officially graduates. Sitting here this morning, having celebrated together, it feels surreal and incredibly special. University has been so much more than just lectures and deadlines. It's been a time of growth. We arrived unsure of where everything was, and perhaps even more unsure of ourselves. And we leave here today with confidence, resilience, and at least a vague understanding of how referencing works. We'll remember the shared experiences, refreshing submission pages just to be certain our assignment has actually uploaded, convincing ourselves that "I'll start it tomorrow" was a solid plan, and spending long days writing essays powered almost entirely by coffee and caffeine from curiosity. These small comforts and the friends who sat beside us through it all make even the most stressful moments something we can now look back on and smile about. Somehow, between the chaos and the caffeine, we grew. We became more independent, more capable, and more certain of who we are. None of us reached this point alone. The support from staff, family, and friends carried us here. And while we may all be heading off on different paths from here, into careers, further study, travel, or potentially something entirely unexpected, one thing we will always have in common is this: we know we can achieve anything we truly put our minds to. We've just proved it. Today, we celebrate the end of an era. Tomorrow, we begin the rest of our lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah, for that wonderful oration. Well, you have a treat in store now, as I invite the musicians of the university to give a short recital. They will sing Non Nobis Domine by William Byrd and I Was Glad by Hubert Parry. Thank you so much for that absolutely wonderful recital. Graduates, as befits your new status as members of our academic community, we ask you to join the procession while guests remain in their places until directed by the stewards, where you can meet up on the west front. I now declare this congregation closed and invite all those present to stand while the procession and our new graduates depart.